Battle's underway. Stamps his authority once again.
My word, this could go wrong.
On the brakes, goodness me, what a launch.
Look at that.
It just all comes down to this. Welcome along, ladies and gentlemen, to the final race number 11 of our season. And we are going to be racing around Brazil tonight. The reason that I was going to say it's the final round is because I thought it was the final Americas round, but it's not. That's next week when we head to Las Vegas. But it is race 11 of our 14-round season, and the possibility that the championship is going to be wrapped up tonight. It's a very slim chance, but it is a distinctly possible chance. My name is Joseph Black. I'll be taking through all the action alongside Kyle SW for today's action. Now, Kyle, of course, Andrea Chenkovan has a good opportunity here today. If he can wrap up the title, he'll need to do a bit of work because, of course, both the Aston Martins are within range. But it's distinctly a possibility that for the Ferrari, it could be champion crowning.
Absolutely. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to race number 11. As you say, Joseph, this could be another championship taken for Andrea Chenkovan. Ollie Matthews looked like he was going to put in a late charge. And, I mean, to be fair to him, he has. And Owen Boldero isn't far behind either. But ultimately, the gap is very large. And they need to hope for a miracle if they're going to have any chance at taking the championship away from Andrea Chenkovan. Now, there is quite a fun stat with Andrea Chenkovan, but we'll wait until we get into the session to share that one with the viewers. But yes, if he does win today, it's going to be quite neat for the championship, but quite neat for his record. But of course, it's a little bit away from us as commentators. But you know, that's not his fault. He wants to win the championships. He wants to get the awards. He wants to get the accolades, and he wants to be known as the greatest of all time in APC. And he is absolutely going the right way to do that. But we will see how this one's going to go. It's Brazil. It's a fun track. They all enjoy this one. So how is this one going to end? Would it be a championship Andrea Chenkovan, or will we get a championship battle for another race at least?
Well, we can talk about the permutations in just a little bit when we head into the qualifying session. But yeah, it's certainly looking very good for Andrea Chenkovan to be able to take the title at some point within the next few races. Ollie Matthews, Owen Boldero, still within the mathematical mix, but not quite yet. I don't feel as though they have the confidence at all to be fighting with Andrea Chenkovan. The gap at the top at the moment between Matthews and Chenkovan is 59 points. And Owen Boldero 124, so he's going to be 27 off of the back of Ollie Matthews, so big gaps back. We saw the two V-Cubs knocked out of contention last time out, but they'll be racing with nothing to lose, and with the pace that Lucas Aracini has, because of course Bertwelly's not here tonight, I think he could be in with a shot for a decent result, maybe even a podium here around Brazil. Yeah,
it's always very possible. You know, it's one of those tracks where you just got to get the lines right, and you just end up getting the good result from it. It's really annoying though when it comes to when it comes to setup here, because you can have a really high downforce setup and absolutely be the fastest driver on the track all throughout the second sector, and you know you'll catch up with all the cars in front, or you can run really low downforce and be the fastest of anyone in the first and third sector. And both strategies seem to kind of meet each other. I've done this before where I think it was a season, maybe last season actually, I think it was with Ethan Shackleton, where he would be completely on my rear end as we exited the second sector, but despite having DRS, wouldn't be able to get past me in the third sector because I had lower wings and I was able just to run away. So yeah, podium's possible. This week I'm on board with Connor Stewart Woodard, so could he possibly get a podium here? There's no podium so far for the Kicksaubers, but they'll both be hoping that this could be the one where it finally happens. So we're keeping an eye on him, see what he's doing. No Bertwelly this time out, so I can't follow him on this occasion. So it's between the two Kicksaubers, and I chose Connor.
Yes, of course, the two Kicksaubers will be hoping for decent results. We'll be able to take you trackside very shortly, and we'll be getting the qualifying session underway out there on the Interlagos circuit. But it's A very prestigious Interlagos circuit. It has been the place where the title has been decided many a time. Don't forget, all the way back in 2008, where Felipe Massa was the champion for about all of 16 seconds. But, of course, it did not work out for himself. The Ferrari here tonight will be hoping that it's going to go a little bit better for himself. And we're going to get the opportunity to go down track side and have a look at the racing action for today. If I can get the right one. There we go. We're going to be trackside, ladies and gentlemen, with the qualifying session here tonight. Brian Moore is who we're watching on with at the moment. There will be Connor Stewart-Woodard to take us to our first lap of the Brazil circuit. And, well, we will continue on board with him as he heads through turn number 1. You want to take tight to the apex there and throw yourself out so you can get enough turn in for turn 2. He's going to invalidate on his lap, so we're going to go to Andrei Chenkovan, who is our champion-elect for tonight. He's going to use the curbs a little bit better than Connor did, as Connor ran over them too much. And so he invalidated his lap in the first 2 corners, and he'll be hoping to do a little bit better. Slipstream then for Andrei Chenkovan is what he's going to get, as it's a 17.210 in the first sector. Not that he needs any help to drag himself along. Heading down towards the Cida de Lago, then out on the exit of the corner, then down towards sector number 2, turn 6, 7, and then the next braking zone of turn number 8. And this is where they enter the second sector, which is very full of slides and full of just a lot of weird moments where you have to judge the power correctly. Andrei Chenkovan judging it slightly wrong out of turn number 9 and down towards turn 10 and through towards sector 3. Andrei Chenkovan gets a 51.663. Then the final braking zone of the lap down towards turn number 12. Turn 13 is just a kink. Turn 14 the same, and turn 15 also the same. So the last 3 corners on this track are all flat out, and Andrei Chenkovan has taken that one and will be coming to the line. What is he going to be able to set? It is going to be a 1:07.695 to kick off proceedings for our champion-elect.
Absolutely. What a rapid time that was. I'm watching the sectors come in. Luca Saraceni goes across the... No, Luca Saraceni, it's Aaron Petho, apologies. Goes across the line with a 108, 547, and that is the purple sector 3, so almost a tenth quicker than Andrei Chenkovan, but it was 7 tenths in sector 2 in Andrei Chenkovan's favour, so he is absolutely rapid. Owen Boldero bridges the gap between the two, but he's still 6 tenths off, and Luca Saraceni does get closer to Andrei Chenkovan than anybody else so far, and that is a 108.009, as Brian Moore also comes across the line to set a 109.657. So Luca Saraceni, closest driver. Owen Boldero not massively far behind, with Aaron Petho further behind there. And actually, brand newcomer then, Ellen is gone ahead of the established drivers of Luca Saraceni and Owen Boldero, but behind the potential championship taker today, Andrei Chenkovan. So, yes, she's very much there, very, very close. So this is a good opportunity to actually introduce the new drivers. Well, first of all, let's talk about the drivers who aren't here. So it's going to be Daniel Riley, who's not here. He said he is attending a party today. A Tuesday seems like an odd day for a party, but who am I to judge? It's going to be Alexander Vickel, final week of his holiday, he says, so he should be back next week to see out the final few races, and we look forward to having him back. Bert Welly, personal reasons, so we don't actually know the reason, but yeah, hopefully we'll see Bert Welly back for the final few races indeed. As you will see, there is a brand new driver, that of course been Ellen Bolink. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, and I'm sure she'll tell me after this race if I haven't. But another female on track, which I think is fantastic. You know, we're seeing good female representation both in real life and in league racing, and we love to see it. Ellen is a reserve, in case anyone wonders why she is in the Mercedes. She is filling in for Dan Riley. So, yeah, but hopefully we'll see her across the final few races. But a few more times have come in since I've started speaking, that being Regan Hardin, 108.7, Ollie Matthews, 108.7 as well. And Paul Garung has got himself into 4th position with a 108 dead.
Yeah, he's going to be 200ths off the back of Luca Saraceni in 4th place at the moment. Luca in the top 3, both of them on the second row of the field as it stands. And Luca Saraceni is on the second row of the championship standings as well. He finds himself in 106 points. So He's going to gain that position off of Burt Welly. Alexis Mason climbs above Ethan Shackleton in the championship standings. Paul Garung through as well. Aaron Petho dropping down. So a lot of positions swapping around in the championship standings. Connor Stewart-Woodard clings on to 11th. He's going to be 4 points behind Aaron Petho, and that's going to be an opportunity that he's going to try to take past the Williams today. And then you have Matthew Gatches, Brian Moore, Dan Riley, Harrison Robinson, Leandro Ratto, Alexander Vickel, Aria Stone, and Ollie Corlett as well, rounding out the order. And, of course, Ellen will make her way back onto the standings onto the standings for the first time even for this evening. But as we head to the constructors' standings as well, it's going to be Ferrari who find themselves right at the very top of this field at the moment with 3-2-1 points for themselves. And then Aston Martin find themselves down in second place, 268, third place, 215. The Mercedes jumping past Williams for that fight there. Haas jumping past Kick Sauber as well. McLaren with 26 points. Then the Teams' Championship in terms of who's still able to take the title. And it is the top 3 teams. So it's not all over yet for Burt Welly and Luca Serafini, but I think it just may well be because of the fact that Luca is alone by himself for this evening's action, and I think he'll be slightly disappointed in his teammate that he can't make it, but he can't make it. That's the way that life is. Andrei Chenkovan is one of 3 drivers still in contention for the drivers' standings. Owen Boldero and Ollie Matthews, the other 2, as Luca Serafini and Burt Welly knocked out of contention last time out, but it's going to be, as I say, 59 points between the top 2, but Boldero and Owen and Ollie Matthews even, I can't speak, are going to be able to... I think their best shot at a title is going to be in the Constructors.
I very much agree with that. Of course, Alexis Mason and Ethan Shackleton knocked out really recently, as Connor Stewart-Woodard actually has gone in. We just missed it. He's gone into the wall, lost his front wing on the half-inch front wing, but he's already set his lap, so I think that was in the lap, so I'm not sure he'd be very upset about that. But not sure how that happened. Owen Boldero as well, actually. I had no idea why he's not driving, so... very possible he's just decided to stop driving on his own, or he's had a crash somewhere as Alexis Mason will come across the line to set a 1:08.519 slow from Alexis standards. But as I was saying, yeah, Alexis and Ethan Shackleton also knocked out of the championship contention. Alexis Mason, it has to be said, for someone who's only sat in, I think, was it 4 or 5 races this season, to even go this long in championship contention is quite remarkable. She's obviously not going to be disappointed that she's not in contention anymore, because she is only a reserve, so she hasn't done enough races realistically. If you win a championship as a reserve, then that's just crazy. So yeah, she won't be upset about that, but I think it's been a good showing this season. It's a shame we've not seen more of her on track, because she has been fun to watch. And whilst I've also noticed Ollie Corlett is another who has DNF'd out of this qualifying session, so no idea what happened there. Ollie hasn't even set a time either, so not ideal, but yeah, we'll have to find out more about those later. I'm sure Owen Boldero will give us an in-depth rundown after this race, as has become custom of this season. But Luca Serafini has actually got himself into second position with a 1:07.846, and Andrei Chenkovan has increased his gap at the top to a 1:07.367. Can any of these drivers hunt down the championship elect Andrei Chenkovan?
Well, they're going to give it a go. Of course they are. And, from the sounds of things, Ollie Corlett got distracted by a Discord notification and ended up going into the wall. I think that's my impression of what's gone on in the drivers' chat. I don't know if you disagree with that, but that's what it looks like has happened for Ollie Corlett. So it's very unfortunate for himself. Have you seen something?
Alexis Mason just gone through the camera shot there the wrong way. So I don't really know what happened. I just saw it. I looked up on the other camera angle, and she flew through shot in reverse. So something's happened, and she's lost the back end somewhere and has gone to the wall. Nothing to worry about. No damage on the car, it would seem. So she'll come back and have another go. I think that was an in-lap. So a lot of in-lap mistakes. Apologies. So far this session, but a quick look at Ollie. Must have knocked it out of mute. That just made me DNF. So yeah, I think you're probably right there. Oh, no. Yeah, okay. So what I've seen there, Alexis has called him out and said, I can hear you in game chat. Can you mute your mic? He then went to mute his mic and has then lost the car and DNF. So that's unfortunate. He's also left the session, I've noticed, so no idea if that's an accident and he will be back, or if he's decided, forget it, I'm at the back, I can't be asked to drive. Hopefully we'll see him back, because we do enjoy seeing all of our APC drivers race. But for now, we're watching Alexis Mason go on another lap to see if she can hassle the top guys.
We certainly will. Owen Baldera has just sent us a clip of what exactly happened to make him DNF. We'll be able to show that in between the qualifying and the race session itself. It's very funny, though, that he's managed to do that somehow. But yeah, it's not a very good start for the Aston Martin, who is hoping to stay within championship contention here today. But he'll be starting from a peak of 7th place, and his teammates won't be particularly happy about that one, because he knows that he's got to do a lot today, and what has been so good for them this season has been their teamwork. So the fact that they won't be able to work together as a team at a crucial time in the campaign will be slightly disappointing, I would imagine. But c'est la vie, that's life, and they will continue on, and we'll try to pick it up from where they left off, see what they can do, because the recovery drives this season from a number of the drivers have been very, very good. Alexis Mason, not particularly confident about today's action. She said she didn't particularly enjoy Brazil, and so we might be seeing her crown slip here today. But a couple more drivers feeling a little bit more confident, and well, in particular, I think that Bert Welly is feeling relatively confident about this one. He said he's not thinking too bad considering the circumstances. In fact, he's had to pull out of the race, so ignore me on that one. But I'm just having a look at the people that joined us for the pre-race interviews. He was one of them, so it's unfortunate he's had to pull out because he was feeling not too bad. Ollie Corlett's not feeling too bad about this race either. He's had a lot of practice, but he's just switched to wheel. So we saw that last race where there was a few mistakes, and hopefully he'll be able to iron them out as Ollie Matthews back into the pit lane in 5th place. But yeah, Ollie Corlett's feeling slightly confident was the terminology that he used. Brazil is a decent track, but we'll see what his pace is like, and he needs to score more points for the World Drivers' Championship and the Constructors' Championship as Aaron Petho finds his way up into 4th place. Corlett, of course, reflecting on being the first driver to ever be disqualified in APC history last time out, feeling terrible about the last race, but hoping to pick up his performances. He'll have to pick up his performances as the sole runner on the last row of the grid.
He will indeed, and hopefully no more DSQs, as he, say, the first to ever be disqualified from the game. Obviously, people have been disqualified after, but not through the game. So hopefully he won't be doing that again this time out. It's a lot harder to get that many penalties this time out, but of course, I'm sure he, some people will, especially the likes of Regan. He's going to kill me for saying that. But he does, he has a reputation. So we will see if that happens. As you say, I've not seen Owen Baldero's video. I've seen it being posted, but I'm going to wait and watch it live with the viewers so I can react to it as it happens. But not ideal. As you said, they are realistically the only contenders other than Ferrari for the team championship. I fear that Racing Bulls may well lose contention this time, if not next race, especially with Bert not being here. But the Aston Martins, they are still in contention. I don't think Ferrari can actually take it this time out either, so they are going to be in contention until at least next race. But with performances like that, it's not going to help their cause. So we'll see what happens. They may well both fight back in the race, safety cars and all that may well happen. But with a crash up for Owen Baldera there, and of course we saw the almighty crash from Ollie Matthews last time out. In fact, we saw it from 2 angles if you watched the post-race version of the broadcast. Yeah, they don't need to be doing that again, so hopefully a better performance from them and we can see the championship go down to the wire. But yeah, at the moment, the Mercedes pairing, Aaron Petho and Luca Serafini, are all in front. Or I say all in front, they're all between the Aston Martins and Andrea Chenkovan, who will come across the line again very, very shortly. In fact, he's gone across the line now. Is he backed out of that lap? No, he's going for this lap. So is he going to improve as he comes to the line? He isn't. In fact, he's backed out. It's probably why the camera angle changed. So ignore me while we follow Regan around on the lap. And hopefully we'll see Regan maybe get that long-awaited podium that he's been waiting for on APC.
It's almost like I know my TV direction rubbish with this one. I saw the gap for himself and I went, yeah, nah, we're not going to watch on with the rest of this lap. It's much more worth it to watch on with Regan Harding. And of course, if you've watched Regan Harding's YouTube, you can see that he's utilised our streams very well, as we might have to be more positive about his performances in future. But no, he's going to be hoping, as you say, for his first APC podium. And so far in this session, the qualifying hasn't quite gone how he would have wanted it to. But it's very close at the top. And can he become another contender right up there? It will have to be on the next lap, because of course he backed out on this one. Andrei Chenkovan is going to improve on this one. I've just spotted that one on the timing boards. He has gone purple within the first two sectors. The third one is going to be where he's going to win or lose this lap. Up to the line then for Andrei Chenkovan. He was improving by 0.037, make that 0.072 as he finds a minimal improvement on his best lap. Ollie Matthews not improving in the first sector. Regan Harding's going to see what he can do, but he has got Ethan Shackleton just ahead of him, who has moved out of the way nice and graciously. Paul Garung has just started another lap, so it's very fair to say that the second runs are truly underway.
Second runs are truly underway indeed. Speaking of second runs, Ollie Matthews is running for the line. This is not a good lap, so may well, of course, also have backed out. But that was not a fantastic lap from Ollie Matthews. I think he will probably have another go. Regan is having another go as well. He's going to come across the line very shortly. And I'm just trying to work out who's doing what here. They're all over the place. They're all doing different strategies. They're all going out at different times. And they are just trying to confuse me, it would seem. But Regan will come across the line then. Will it be an improvement for Regan? It won't be. And he'll be very, very disappointed by that. Just a 10th behind his best lap. Paul Garung is on a lap. It looks like both Mercedes drivers are on a lap. And we saw Alexis Mason get out of the way a little while ago. Alexis Mason will be the last person to start the lap as she goes across the line now. It looks like it's going to be a little bit of a tussle at the end here. Is there going to be a distant slipstream here for Paul Garung? Or is Paul Garung backed out? Now, Paul Garung's definitely backed out this one because he's now miles behind Aaron Pether. What's Aaron Pether going to do then as he goes across the line? He's currently on a 107.9. He'll hope to improve on that, and he will not be able to. 7 seconds. Okay, so they're all starting again. So I think they're just testing me at this stage. So we'll see some lap times come in, I'm sure. Ollie Matthews comes across the line, and he does actually put a lap in. That's a 179.38 for Ollie Matthews. Currently puts himself into third position ahead of Aaron Petho and Paul Garung. That is no more times for Lucas Orosini or Andrei Chenkovan. What's the newcomer Ellen going to do? Ellen's going to put herself in second place with a 107.331. Extremely close to pole position. Brian Moore crosses the line with an invalidated lap. And we're almost out of the lap, so I'll let you take the last couple of laps here, Joseph.
Yeah, we certainly are, and Brian Moore is going to come up to the line and improve by 2/10. Alexis Mason's finding time, and Ethan Shackleton finds his way up to fourth, so a huge lap from Ethan late on to throw himself into the top two rows of the grid. What can Alexis Mason do? It will be the top two rows of the grid for her, knocking Ethan Shackleton right off of them. Then the last two laps of the session will be from Aaron Petho and from Paul Garung. Petho around the final corner, Paul Garung not too far behind. Andrei Chenkovan will have pole position. Ellen is going to challenge into the first corner, and it will be very close between those two. Aaron Petho is going to try and find time and find himself up to the top, and he's going to be in third, and Paul Garung moves up to fifth. So a couple of laps late on is going to make this a very interesting battle indeed. Some of those drivers who set laps earlier on will be hoping or would have been hoping that their laps would remain the top ones, but instead it will be Andrei Chenkovan, who of course just improved and was untouchable throughout this qualifying session. He takes pole position, Ellen in second place, and that'll be Aaron in third, Luca in fourth, Alexis in fifth, and Paul in sixth. Ethan Shackleton finds himself in seventh place, and Ollie Matthews and Owen Boldero in eighth and ninth. Regan Harding rounding out the top 10, and it'll be Connor Stewart-Woodard and Brian Moore with Ollie Corlett in 13th and last, and we'll be starting from last place. But it's going to be very interesting to see the differences, because the Aston Martins are at the back.
Oh, yeah, what has happened in that session from the Aston Martins? And of course, Ethan Shackleton has waited until race 11 to really show us what he can do. We've seen flashes of the old Ethan Shackleton pace throughout the season, but it's been very far and few in between. But he's waited till now, where the championship really is relying on him to actually show some fantastic performances ahead of the Aston Martins. Now, you let me know when you're ready to show Owen Boldero. Looks like it's getting ready as it appeared in the top left there. So I will just kill time and you just give me a shout. But yeah, they are much further back, the Aston Martins, than they will want to be. Paul Garung, of course, that's unfortunate because he was setting some blistering pace. And he is further back. So let's have a quick look then on board with what Owen Boldero. And how has he managed that?
Okay? That was a
And look, he's managed to
hit.
beat his
Turn the
teammate
engine
into
off
the
and
pit
wait for
box
the
somehow.
marshals.
I am absolutely baffled by that. So he's just overcorrected far too much and ended up going into the pit wall. That's very amateurish. It must be said. There's a bit of a skill issue going on there from Owen Boldero. He'd be hoping that he won't do that in the race because that will definitely harm their title chances as they are still very much in the hunt for a team's title. But I tell you what, with performances like that, Andrea Chenkovan could very much wrap up the title today. But newcomer Ellin with a purple sector 1 and a purple sector 3, 3,000ths off Andrea Chenkovan's time. I dare say she could put in a charge here for the win. And if she sits in for some more races, could end up getting involved in that Drivers' Championship battle.
Yeah, and she was having a look at the full-time seats earlier on before deciding it was potentially too late in the season to make anything happen, unfortunately. So that'll be an interesting one to watch later down the line as to whether we will be getting Ellin Join. And of course, she had a very good start to her APC career and going to go down to trackside and have a look at what is a very sunny, overcast day, which is a paradox, but it is sunny in terms of the racing conditions, but it is going to be a little bit overcast above the drivers, and they're going to be hoping that that means that there is no rain on the horizon, but of course we shall wait and see. No rain predicted for this race, but sometimes the weather forecast isn't 100% accurate, so we never quite know whether there could be something that will come in later on. But this is a big race in terms of the championship fight. Baku set the scene, and now Brazil is where it shall play out.
Brazil is, and I love Brazil. You know, it's one of those just great tracks where the track layout offers some really good racing action, and I cannot wait to see all 13 of these drivers battle it out all the way to the end. 36 laps there will be once we have finished the formation lap. And yeah, it's going to be a great one. You know, with Ellin coming in as well, showing pace like that, I think just all over. Yeah, you know, there's quite a few surprises, we must say. I think Alexis Mason being down in 5th is quite a surprise. Aaron Petho, we've seen flashes of pace from Aaron Petho, but you know, top 3 is not his regular spot. So good to see him up there, I think. Yeah, the Aston Martin boys down the back, not ideal. Ollie Corlett at the very back, having crashed trying to mute his microphone. So not an ideal start for him. Regan in 10th. He'll be disappointed with that, knowing Regan. And as you mentioned, his recent YouTube video highlighting his endeavours in APC. He definitely will be very upset about that. But look, a lot can happen. I got a podium here once due to a late safety car, putting me in the right position. And I actually battled with Andrea Chenkovan. I remember that. And I battled hard to actually get that 3rd place. And what a good podium that was. I very much enjoyed that one. But it's one of those tracks where it throws up surprises, it throws up chaos, and it throws up fun. So we will wait and see what this one looks like. It was going to look like, I think it's Ollie Matthews, is it, at the back there? Just doing his own thing, crawling round, having a jolly old time. And he'll keep everyone waiting, although I'm expecting him to probably put it in the wall at some point. During formation lap, just to be clear.
Well, you never know with the way that Ollie Matthews was last race. He may well just put it in the wall again out of pure frustration, just to feel something if you get that reference. But yeah, Andrea Chenkovan, everybody else in fact, will roll up to the line, and potentially Ollie Matthews might be in AI mode. No, he is just taking some time to prepare for this race. He knows what it will mean for his championship battle, of course, when he could be knocked out of it as soon as today. But of course, Andrea Chenkovan will be trying to do his best to make that happen. And well, it's been I'm not going to say an implosion from the 2 Aston Martins, but well, it's certainly not the ideal start to their weekend with that qualifying.
Absolutely not. No, wouldn't be happy about that, especially Ollie Matthews, who definitely has a chance at the title still. Although he doesn't believe he does. He's been very negative about his chances in the drivers' chat. He's basically counted himself out, which is not what you want to see, especially as a commentator. We want to see this battle go all the way down to the end, but I don't think we're going to. And if the history continues on the path it does, today will be the day that Andrew Chenkovan takes it. And again, we will find out more about why that is a bit later on in the race. But as the dejected Ollie Matthews pulls up to the grid box, we are getting prepared for the 5 red lines.
We certainly are. We'll have 5 red lights, and then we will have our 36 lap race around Brazil. The drivers are sitting in front of said lights, which are coming on now. There's going to be 5 of them, and the drivers are ready, and the action is going to get underway. Now with green flag racing, and Andrea Chenkovan gets off to a great launch. So does Aaron Petho right in behind. He's going to be into second place, into turn 1. Ellen's going to be squeezed in the middle of him and Luca Seracini. And on the exit, Luca's going to get through. Petho's going to get through into P2, and Ellen's going to be spun around. Contact between herself and Aaron Petho, as she was just caught on the curbing, and that's very unfortunate to be dropped back down, but will only be right to the back of this pack, as Connor Stewart Woodard all the way at the back of the field.
Yeah, what's happened to Connor Stewart Woodard? We've missed that there. So something's happened to put him at the back. You'd think I would know, given that I am on board with him. But it's quite hard to watch a race start and watch a stream at the same time. So miles behind is Connor Stewart Woodard, behind his teammate, who is also in top position to the last 2 positions for both Kick Saubers. It's going to be side by side between Ethan Shackleton and Mr. Late to the Grid, Ollie Matthews. But yeah, what a fantastic start that was from Aaron Petho, who's also on the medium tyre. I was just checking to see, because I've just noticed that we're on board with Regan, who's on the soft tyre. So that is why he's propelled himself up from 10th to 6th. But there are your tyres. Regan is the only person doing something different, and we love to see that sort of racing. But at the moment, Luca Seracini is the only person who is in the DRS train with the leader, Andrea Chenkovan. Yeah, not an ideal start for the newcomer, Elin. Looks like, you know, it all came together. We saw it. It was 3 wide through most of those corners, as there's going to be a little battle further back between is that Ethan Shackleton? It is Ethan Shackleton and the Aston Martin of Ollie Matthews. But yeah, like, not an ideal start. No idea if that's going to be anyone's fault. The stewards will be looking out for reports after this race. But as Ollie Matthews tries to go around the outside of Ethan Shackleton, it's still Andrea Chenkovan leading in Brazil.
It certainly is. Andrea Chenkovan off to a very, very good start indeed. That's exactly what he would have wanted. He just got a good launch. Ellen got a bit of a sluggish one in comparison, and that's why she was swallowed up into the first corner, and that's why she had the problems with Aaron Petho at start with the launch that she got off of the line, and that's very unfortunate. Hopefully she'll be able to fight her way through the field. She certainly has the pace to be able to fight through the field, and she'll give it a go throughout this race session. It's not like she's one of those that will retire on lap 1. How do I know that? Well, it's lap 2, and it's almost going to be lap 3. So it's for Ellen, it's not going to be a retirement. It will just be Harding honours. Well, it will be a time penalty heading the way of Ollie Corlett as we head to the end of the 3rd lap, and the top 2, big gap to the rest of the field. Luca Seracini is going to be the closest one to challenge Andrea Chenkovan today.
He is, as Andrea Chenkovan went deep into turn 1 then. Ollie may have a great run down this second DRS straight as we go in through the 3rd sector. So is he going to be able to do it as we get down to the end? Andrea Chenkovan defends the inside. Looks like Luca is going to turn the battery off and take it easy as Alexis Mason goes past Aaron Petho there. They are both too far back, so they need to be careful not to fight too hard. But I've said that as Aaron Petho has come back through, so they are going to fight this one out and lose touch with the top 2. Luca Seracini yet to take a win here. He will be very, very desperate, probably not the right word, but very keen to take this win if he can. We know the pace he can produce on his best days, but he's not yet had the measure of Andrea Chenkovan, and that is why Andrea Chenkovan has been a champion so many times here in APC, and he is obviously going to go for another, so he's not going to give this one up easily. His teammate Ethan Shackleton in 7th position in a DRS train of his own that's currently being led by soft runner Regan, and that is going all the way down to Ellen, who's not yet been able to get past her teammate for this race, Paul Garung. Both Kick Saubers are at the back with Ollie Corlett, who's already started his charge of trying to get another DSQ.
Yes, it looks to be the way, although trying as harsh as Ethan Shackleton is going to be side by side with Regan Harding, who tries to sweep it around the long way around. He can't do so, but on the exit of the corner, because of the grip that he has on those tyres, it was a much better exit, but a bit of a kick of oversteer means that Ollie Matthews is going to be able to get through on one and maybe on two. Through on Ethan Shackleton, who has a slide. Not sure if there was contact there between the Aston Martin and the Ferrari, but Shackleton drops down, and now he's going to be within range of this fight between Ollie Corlett and Brian Moore. That at the moment, Ollie Corlett has won. Slightly further back up the field, Paul Garung is ahead of Regan Harding. Ellen is going to be right back into the fight in 9th place and all over the back of Harding for now.
All over the back of Harding indeed. And this is the soft tie then falling off for Regan Harding, it would seem. Ellen's temporary teammate for this one, Paul Garung, has already passed Regan, and Ellen will be hoping to do the same. There is battles happening all over the place, and I tell you what, we don't know what to keep our eye on at this stage. I do not envy you in the lead comms position. I've been in your position many times when there's been battles like this happening everywhere, and I tell you what, a battle happening somewhere else is for the lead. Lucas Seracini has taken the lead from Andrea Chenkovan, and Andrea Chenkovan has got a good exit out of that the center S is there, and we'll try and have a go back on Lucas Seracini. He's going to do the inside. Luca did not defend that one, surprisingly, and Luca's going to go back through on Andrea Chenkovan, the current championship elect. He is back in 2nd place, and that was quite good racing from the two of them. Quite fair racing. We know Andrea's fair. That's why he's able to consistently get so many points in this championship. But what a battle that was from the two of them, and they will both enjoy watching that one back, I am sure. Owen Baldero is very close to Aaron Petho and will be wanting to have a go on Aaron Petho as soon as possible. Some of the rest of the gaps have opened up a bit, and it looks like Ollie Corlett has got ahead of Brian Moore.
Yeah, as for now, Brian Moore dropping down to 12th place. Ollie Corlett did so a couple of laps ago. Just seems to have the measure over Brian Moore for the time being as the gaps start to eke out, but not between these top two. Lucas Seracini is giving Andrew Chenkovan a right old go here today, and Andrew Chenkovan is really having to think about the way that he fights this V-carb right ahead. Lucas Seracini holds that position by 0.3 per second as they head down towards the Desida de Largo, and the DRS will be enabled for the Ferrari. He'll go to the inside. Lucas Seracini will defend it, but there's only so much he can do as the Ferrari makes his way through and moves up a position, but a little bit wide on the exit. I think a little bit of wheel banging between the Ferrari and the V-carb. We didn't quite see it, but it was in the end. The Ferrari that was pushed wide, but the Ferrari that made his way through, Lucas Seracini, just tried to fight back on the exit, but didn't have as much grip. And so Andrew Chenkovan's right up there. Alexis Mason just outside of DRS. If they go for one more move in the final sector, it's going to be DRS for the Haas. They head down the straight one more time as Regan Harding through on Ellen, and Ethan Shackleton looking to pressure as well. Ellen went a little bit too deep into the corner, and Shackleton makes her go deep once again. She's really getting bullied by a couple of these drivers here, and here's another one from Ethan Shackleton around the outside. Ellen might have to duck to the inside of the final braking zone, can't quite do so. Shackleton is through into 9th as Andrew Chenkovan continues to hold the lead. Lucas Seracini is going to send it into the first corner here. Can he make his way through? Little bit of a lock-up from both of them, and so I think Chenkovan's going to be able to hold on to it. But the outside line for the centre S is turning into the inside line for turn 3 is exactly what you want, and so Lucas Seracini is going to be able to get through with the aid of DRS down to Desida de Largo. He's going to be able to seal it as well, as slightly further behind. It's all going on. Ethan Shackleton is currently in 10th place trying to chase Ellen, and well, Aaron Petho in 4th place trying to defend from Owen Baldero.
I cannot keep up with what is happening. There is battles happening everywhere. Owen Baldero not able to get ahead of Aaron Petho, has been trying for many a lap and has not been able to do it. His teammate isn't able to even get onto the back of him, so this is a slow showing from Ollie Matthews. You know, it's from his standards, this is not going well, and he'd be hoping to be able to put it back at some point. Ellen from the highs of taking 2nd and almost, 3,000 off, it's 300ths off pole position, to being down in 9th position and struggling to get back through. But a lot can happen still. Ethan Shackleton wants a bit of that action as well. And there's it looks like it's going to be Connor Stewart Woodard then, who's just gone wide in the 3rd sector. No damage, it would seem from what I can see on his onboard. But yeah, that's not an ideal race. And he's currently all the way down in 13th position. Regan in 9th position on those soft tyres, falling back through the order. But I tell you what, I'm really enjoying that battle for the lead at the top. And with Alexis Mason now getting herself involved in this battle could go to any of the three here. And if they carry on battling, the likes of Aaron Petho and Owen Boldero could be part of this battle very shortly.
Yeah, they certainly could be part of the battle very, very soon. And Alexis Mason already has made her way into the DRS, which is a promising sign of things to come from the Haas driver. 6/10 off the back and 1.9 the difference between herself and the car behind, which is, of course, Aaron Petho in the Williams. So there is range and scope for drivers to come into it here, but they just have to try and avoid that as much as they possibly can. And, well, Owen Boldero, in the meantime, he'll be the latest one to try and make a charge as he gets through on Petho. Petho, though, I think, will have the DRS on the exit of the corner. Who's going to open up their rear wing? It will be Petho, who will come back at Owen Boldero here. Ollie Matthews waiting in behind, watching his teammate get overtaken by Petho. And you'd imagine they're going to try and work together as a team very shortly to make their way back through on the Williams and make their ways back up into 4th and 5th, respectively. What can Owen Boldero do on the exit of the corner? He gets a much better run than Petho. You can tell that by the fact that he's gone and tried to extend the track rather than the fact that the Williams, who kept it very, very tight indeed, but not able to capitalise, and he stays in behind as Ethan Shackleton is going to get through on Regan Harding.
Regan Harding just slowly falling down the order, and I don't think it's going to be a long time until Brian Moore catches him, although I feel like he will probably, so Ollie called it, but he'll probably pull into the pit lane before that happens. It's about time he got off those soft tyres and try something new. But of course, he's probably waiting out for a safety car, which is unfortunate. He's not going to save his race today because, of course, he's already fallen down the order. But it would mean that he won't go all the way to the back. But let's see what happens. Of course, he probably put on some hard tyres, I imagine, see how far he can run them. But yeah, it's a big ask for Regan now to get back up. He's back in the position he started though, so nothing lost just yet. But he will lose a few more positions once he does box. It looks like Andrew Chenkovan will take that lead back. And Owen Boldero will finally get past Aaron Petho into turn 1. And his teammate Ollie Matthews will also try and have a go as he continues down to the turns 4-5 section there. Looks like Regan Harding struggling a little bit through the center S's, but he is doing what he needs to. Aaron Petho and Ollie Matthews will go side by side. And it looks like Aaron Petho will keep that position on this lap. Alexis Mason as close as ever to Luca Seracini. Alexis and Luca need to be careful not to battle each other, because if they start battling each other, then Andrew Chenkovan will run away. And if Andrew Chenkovan runs away, it's going to be extremely difficult to close that gap back up. Luca just about in DRS range here as he crosses the line. Will he stay in it? I'm not sure. He crossed the line there or thereabouts on a second. So I'm not sure if he's actually going to have kept DRS this time. I will keep on board with him on my screen. I think this is it. I think he's lost DRS and Alexis Mason. He has. Alexis Mason will now then take the opportunity to go past into second place if she can, but may not be able to. Ollie Matthews, who we are on board with, yeah, she's not going to be able to on this one. Ollie Matthews will also try and have a go at Aaron Petho, but Aaron Petho is not going to let him pass. Aaron Petho is closer to Owen Boldero than Ollie is to Aaron, but Aaron's gone wide there, and that may well open the door for Ollie. But I tell you what, I think he is a bit too far back. And Regan Harding then will finally come off those soft tyres.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if later on in the race, when we speak to Regan Harding after the driver interviews, I wouldn't be surprised to hear that that was an accident to go onto those tyres, because it just seems like such an odd decision. And a gamble that didn't really need gambling from Regan Harding. Aaron Petho up into the lead of this little group of drivers. He's up into 4th place as Owen Boldero and Ollie Matthews in 4th and in 5th and 6th even. They want to be in 4th and 5th. But Petho's just providing a really frustrating blockage for them, because they feel as though they can make their way through and keep their championship alive. But Aaron Petho doesn't care about the championship particularly. He just cares about his track position, and you can completely understand that at this point in the season. Why on earth would he help out the Aston Martins? There's no real reason to, and so he's going to keep on fighting for everything that he can get personally, and keep himself fighting at the top of the order. The two Aston Martins side by side. They might try to sandwich the Williams in as contact between Matthews and Petho as he tried to move to the outside line, and there might be more contact between the Williams and an Aston Martin. There was, as Owen Boldero received a slight tap. Petho's going to get a better exit out of the corner, but I think that's because of the contact that he had with both the Aston Martins, and the DRS he had on Owen Boldero is going to keep him ahead.
This is not what we want to see. We've seen this before, haven't we, in Azerbaijan, and it's not the kind of racing we like to see. But the Aston Martins may well think that's fair and may not just say anything about it. But I would be surprised if that is the case. So we'll have to wait and see if a steward's inquiry is opened into those incidents there. But they need to be very careful. We do not need your championship ending by fighting too hard with someone who, of course, is not battling for a championship position. But I can see at the top, Andrew Chenkovan has finally been able to open that gap on Lucas Aracini, and therefore Lucas Aracini and Alexis Mason, they're fighting each other now for second position, and that is a yellow in the second set. I think that is Conor Woodard again. It is, and he's stuck on the curb. Conor Woodard is stuck on the curb. He cannot move. So that is not ideal. He's managed, I don't know how he's managed that. He's going to reset to track, it would seem. I can see he's on board. He has reset to track. But that is quite an odd glitch, it has to be said. But yeah, not a good race for Conor Woodard at this stage, it would seem. Ollie Matthews will go past Aaron Peffo. Aaron Peffo says, no, you don't. Looks like there's a little bit of a tap there again. And as Ollie tries to go back into line, I think he almost hit his teammate there who thought that he had the gap on the outside. Of course, the Aston Martins work very, very well together. They're in a VC and whoa, as Ollie Matthews loses the back end majorly there. He needs to be careful not to slow his teammate up. But as I was saying, they work very well together. They speak to each other all throughout the race and they strategize together. So they won't fight each other, but they need to do something because Paul Garung is now on the back of them. And if they don't get past Aaron soon, it's going to be Paul Garung who may well capitalize on this and get past them, and then maybe even get past Aaron himself.
Are we seeing cracks in the Aston Martin regime finally? As these two, a little bit of miscommunication I think there has been throughout the course of this Grand Prix, and it looks like it may continue into the pits. Comes Lucas Aracini and comes Aaron Peffo, who gets a 10-second time penalty added to his name. So that's very unfortunate for the Hungarian, who is running such a good race so far, but they're both going to drop down and they're both going to go for the undercut, as Ethan Shackleton and Ellen will be in the same range 6th and 7th at the moment for those two drivers. And, well, Paul Garung, in the meantime, has been able to catch up to the fight with the two Aston Martins, and he could be the latest thorn in the side. Now that Aaron Peffo has pushed himself out of contention, he could be the one to stop the challenge from these two Aston Martins to close that gap down further up the order. I really think there's an opportunity here that could be the case, but they're just going to have to wait and see as Lucas Aracini makes his first move of coming out of the pit lane. Those hard compound tyres have seen him past Ellen.
Absolutely has, yes. Ellen, of course, yet to box on this one. It's only currently Regan Harding, who surprisingly stood in 12th on 3-lap old hard tyres. It is Aaron Peffo got onto the fresh hard tyres, and of course Lucas Aracini. I'm liking this from Lucas Aracini because from my experience, Luca always tends to be, or say from my experience, from watching him through the season, always tends to be the last one to box. He loves going for the overcut, and it doesn't always work out for him. In fact, it doesn't work out for him very often. So I'm very excited to see this undercut and what it could do. However, we know how well Andrew Chenkovan can hold on to tyres, so he may well battle the likes of Alexis Mason, may well struggle to battle with Andrea Chenkovan, but we'll have to wait and see. And Alexis Mason not really making inroads on Andrea Chenkovan either. So as we suspected with Andrea Chenkovan now building the gap, he is just running away with this one. There's a lot bigger gaps on the field now. Ethan Shackleton coming out the pit lane, Ellen, Ollie Corlett, and Brian Moore all coming out the pit lane now. And I'm expecting Conor Woodard to now enter the pit lane. And that just leaves the top 5 to all change off their medium tyres and go on to a fresh set of tyres.
Yeah, they're going to make the switch onto a fresh set of tyres, as you say, and they're going to go to the end of the race on said set of tyres. You would imagine, with the hard compound tyres being able to make it about 20 laps, it's going to be a one-stop strategy for the majority of these drivers in this pack. And, well, we will see them come to the end of this race after just the one pit stop. That, of course, being apart from those drivers who had contact or will have contact later on in the race, if that is the case. And also the drivers like, exclusively really going to be Regan Harding, who of course started on those soft, even compound tyres, which was not the ideal strategy to go onto. And he's going to be ruining that later on in the race, I am sure, when he comes into the pit lane again. At the moment, finding himself in 8th place. So he did gain places off at the start, but just finds himself right back where he would have gained already, because of course he's gained 2 positions off of the race start. But when he comes back into the pit lane again, I wouldn't be surprised to find that it's a net neutral, as Ollie Corlett fighting away with Ellin at the moment, trying to hold off the Mercedes, who's hard charging back through the field after the problems that she's had earlier on. Ellen Belink looking for the inside line, maybe into turn number 6. Is she going to be able to open up the door? Yes, she is. Is she going to be able to take it into 8? There's going to be a lock-up. Ollie Corlett's going to run wide, and I think he just got a little bit scared of the back of the Mercedes there.
These two, they happen to know each other, actually. I'm not sure what the history is there, but they do know each other. I've seen them talking to each other in the chat. So probably a bit of a friendly rivalry potentially going on there. So that is hopefully, something that's just a bit of banter, and they're all good. I can report that Connor Shortwood is lapped at this point in the race. He is lapped. Ollie Matthews is just ahead of him, having just lapped him. So as these pit stops play out, Ollie Matthews and Paul Garung still to run. It is Andrew Chenkovan who's come out behind Luca Serafini. But can Luca Serafini do enough to keep him out of the DRS range? It's going to be difficult. We know the pace of Andrew Chenkovan. But if he can hold him up long enough to get Alexis Mason back into this fight, and maybe even Aaron Petho, then he does stand a chance. But if he lets Andrew Chenkovan get in the DRS range, get past and run away, it's going to be extremely difficult. As it stands, though, Andrew Chenkovan has not got the championship wrapped up. But, of course, Ollie Matthews still yet to pit. I say that. He's pulled into the pits, and so has Paul Garung. And Paul Garung's got a 10-second penalty for speed in the pit lane. So that is the second person to do so. It's a very difficult pit lane here. I've crashed in the pit entry here simply by going around the corner as fast as you do and not realizing that somebody else is going in there at half the speed for some reason. It's something that really annoys me about this track. Some people just really struggle with the pit entry, as we've seen. But yeah, very easy to speed in this pit lane because it's very much part of the racetrack, and you really have to hit the brakes very hard. Of course, they've changed the layout slightly now, where you do have a bit of a kink on the entry. But as Ollie Corlett goes back past Ellin, and Ellin tries to defend it and actually gets the position back. Oh no, and Ollie Corlett's going to get it back off the road. Is that going to be a warning? Is that going to... the game going to force the position back? It looks like no. It looks like Ollie Corlett is able to hold on to this one. So from the heights of battling for a win to the lows of battling for a point, it looks like Ellin and Ollie's battle will continue to the end of this race as we tick over the halfway point.
Yeah, over the halfway point, 18 of 36 at the moment, and Ollie Corlett doing a very good job of holding off Ellin, much to the Mercedes' dismay. She would like to be ahead, but of course he's going to make her work for it because they are on the same sort of level of tyres. 3 laps, in fact, means that they are both on exactly the same level of tyres at the moment, and they're going to be hoping to... Well, Ollie Corlett's going to be hoping to duke it out to the end of the race. Ellin, not so much. She'll be hoping to make her way through as soon as she possibly can, but of course, that's very much easier said than done. They'll head down the straight one more time, and the DRS will be open for the Mercedes, so she might be able to go to the outside line. Ollie Corlett's going to defend it, so it's the inside line for Ellin into the centre S's, and that is going to be the preferred line, but a big lock-up is not going to help her case. She'll go wide to try and swing across on the exit, and swung across a bit too far. Ellin's going to spin around, and that's unfortunate for the Mercedes. Just expected the pace to be a little bit better from Corlett on the exit. The power to be down a little bit more, but unfortunately for Ellin, that's going to be a spin, and that is going to be another mistake on her APC debut as, she gets those mistakes out of the way, and later on in her APC career, I'm sure she's going to be right up there, because the pace certainly promises.
Pace is definitely there, so we'll hope that Ellin will come back stronger in future races if she does return. That is a yellow in the first sector. I think that's probably Connor Shortwood. I think it's just letting the leaders pass. So Luca Serafini and Andrea Chenkovan are now past Connor, and Connor is well and truly in the depths of 13th position. But he's now, joined by the likes. Or say joined. He's not joined by the likes of Ellin because there's a 30-second gap. Ivan Baldero will be let past by his teammate, and they will go after Aaron Petho once again. Aaron Petho was Hassan in the back of Alexis, but it looks like he's fallen off just a little bit. And his gap's really starting to open up now as Ethan Shackleton and Regan Harding fight each other again. These two always seem to find each other on track. They are getting extremely acquainted, it would seem. And that is that retirement in the pit lane for Ellen. It is a retirement in the pit lane. So I think you spoke a little bit too soon earlier when you said that she wouldn't quit out the session, because it looks like a small incident with her friend Ollie Corlett was enough to trigger a retirement in the pit lane. That's good news for Connor Stewart-Woodard. Puts him one position closer to the top 10, but still a lot needed to do from him if he's going to get anywhere near. Brian Moore will hope to be able to battle for that final point. But again, 10 seconds off the back of what he called it, so not ideal. Andrew Chenkovan not yet able to get past Lucas Ericini, but with, is it 2-lap old fresher tyres? It's 3-lap fresher tyres, apologies. He will get past at some point. He thought about it there, but he's not the type to dive, is our Andrew Chenkovan. But he has got the fastest sector 1, 3 attempts quicker than Lucas Ericini through there. But he's going to play the patient game, and he will try and come back shortly. It's P5, fifth position needed for Ollie Matthews to still be in championship contention after this one. Sixth position or lower, and Andrew Chenkovan will take it if he wins. Of course, if he doesn't win, then that maths will need to be remathsed, and we will have to work that one out. But we will see what happens, of course. Currently, Alexis Mason is not yet able to make inroads on this apologies, for the lead battle. But she will keep putting in some good laps, and she will hope to get there very shortly as Connor Stewart-Woodard gets out the way again to let more lap cars past.
Yeah, Connor Stewart-Woodard, unfortunate race. But, I mean, in my defence, I said Ellen hadn't retired, and then she did. I was just stating the facts rather than anything else. And Connor Stewart-Woodard, I thought he would have retired, but in fairness to him, he hasn't, as we're going to get side by side for the lead. Chenkovan will make his way through, and that, I think, will be that in terms of the race, unless Lucas Ericini's got anything left in the tank. But if the start of the race is anything to go by, then I think that might be curtains, because Lucas Ericini has a tendency to push those tyres a little bit too hard in his early stint, which means that he's not going to be able to fight back later on into the stint. And, well, that's what we saw in the first stint. That's what we're potentially seeing right now with the position taken up, and with the swap for Andrew Chenkovan making his way through as Connor Stewart-Woodard picks up more penalties, unfortunately, for him in this race. This is not going to help Kik Sauber at all in the constructors' standings. Well, the fact that both of them are out of the points, very much not going to help them in any way, shape or form. And, well, they'll hope to keep it up throughout the rest of the season and keep their spirits up at least, as, well, they dropped past Haas last race. And with Ollie Corlett in 10th place and with Alexis Mason in 3rd, we could be seeing that being the case, that the Haas team just make the most of the fact that Alexander Vickle is not here, as Andrew Chenkovan even sets the fastest lap of this race so far. And, well, he's done that to extend the gap between himself and Lucas Ericini. It is now more than the DRS.
Indeed it is, and I am disappointed to have learned that I did not provide the fact graphics. There's a few good facts for this race, so instead I am going to read them out. So one fact, quite an odd fact about Andrew Chenkovan is that, of course, he has won the championship 3 times. But what's quite odd is that he's won the championship earlier and earlier every single season. So season 7, he won it in the final race. In season 8, he won it in the penultimate race. And in season 9, he won it on race 12. So every season, he has won it one race earlier. We are now, of course, in race number 11. So if he continues on that trend, then this season, he will wrap it up today. Although, I would be surprised if Owen Boldero does not hand the position to Ollie Matthews at the end of this race if they find themselves in these 2 positions as we go into this race. Because a 5th position for Ollie Matthews means this goes another race. Of course, still going to be a big ask though, because he will need to hope that Andrew Chenkovan does not score again for the remainder of the season if he's going to have any chance. But it looks like the Aston Martins will switch positions now, and Connor Stewart-Woodard will retire in the pit lane for the 3rd time. So, not a great showing from Connor Stewart-Woodard. We don't expect that from him, but, well, he's gone and done it. So, 11 drivers remain, And 11th driver, of course, being Brian Moore, the only one currently to not score any points in this one. But a lot can change. Another fact about this one is that, we have spoken about it actually, so I don't even know why I need to speak about it, but the Aston Martins are the only cars in championship contention other than Andrea Chenkovan. So, that they are the fun facts for this one. Apologies, Joseph, that I didn't put them in the correct place for you to show them on stream. But tyre performance is showing on the replay cameras, not on the main cameras, but Luca Serafini's tyres are in the 30s, whilst Alexis Mason's are all in the 20s.
Yeah, and Alexis Mason is doing a good job of managing those tyres at this point in time. But as we talked about, Luca Serafini, I think needs to work on his tyre management just that little bit to make his way further up the order. Because I mean, he's shown more and more promise throughout the course of this game cycle. Of course, he started it attempting no assist, which lasted long. But he, to be fair, gave it a good crack during season 11 or season 9. But through season 10, it has not been the case for him that it's worked out. And you know what? I did the maths there, and I went instead of backwards like I meant to do, I went forwards. Anyway, so that's why I came up with season 11. But yeah, it's. He tried it for a very long time. He's going to try it, allegedly, on the next game cycle. We'll see whether that one pays off. But he certainly gave it a good crack in the first season, but it was littered with mistakes. But from this point onwards, this season, now that he's gone back to using those assists, he's found a massive pace boost. And now it's just about combining the pace that he has right now with the ability to manage those tyres, which will come with using less assists. And so the next game cycle will be a huge one in terms of his APC career, I would imagine, in terms of what he can demonstrate. And, well, he'll be very, very happy indeed, I think, if he's able to challenge for more on the next game cycle. And I would have an inkling that he will challenge for more on the next game cycle, because he is just, of course, he's a fantastic driver. Everybody here is a fantastic driver, but he is just... I'd say he's probably the most improved driver of all of this APC lot that I've seen, at least, throughout the course of this game cycle, starting where he was not crashing all the time, but crashing quite frequently and spinning around quite frequently. But he's managed to get rid of those mistakes. He's managed to improve, and absolutely fair play to Luca Serafini for that one. And, well, he currently finds himself in second place. And while the target at the start of this game cycle was to be in the top 5, he's now found himself in and around the podium pretty much every single race, and that is great to see. Of course, took a podium in race 9 of the season, so not the last race, the one before. He's not taken a victory yet, but he's come very, very close to doing so on a consistent basis, just having the pace to challenge right up the very top of this field. And well, I can see him taking that victory very soon, if a slice of luck comes his way, which he is very much earned.
Yeah, I am inclined to agree with you there. I think, he's a lovely guy as well, which you want the nice guys, the guys who come and chat to us, the guys we know very well, to do well, I mean, I would love all of these drivers to get a podium and a win at some point in their APC career. But, it's quite hard with everybody driving at the level that they are. And Andrea Chenkovan, of course, dominating quite regularly. It's quite hard for them to do so. And, we love to see it. We love to see drivers get it for the first time. I remember Luca's first one and how excited we were about that. But yeah, he absolutely deserves it. And as you say, he was being compared to Kylie Minogue quite a lot last season with the amount of spins that he had. But now, of course, he is up there and he is battling regularly for podiums. And today, potentially on for a potential win if he was able to hold on to the tyres and hold on to Andrew Chenkovan. But as soon as Andrew Chenkovan came past in that second stint, he ran away, and you haven't seen him since. He hasn't been on camera. He is out there, I promise you. You can see him on the track map, but he is just doing his own thing and not really hassling anyone, and no one's hassling him. Ethan Shackleton, I would have to say, is the person who's gone the opposite way to Luca Serafini. We're not seeing spins and crashes from Ethan Shackleton, it must be said. But his pace has gone from consistent winning pace, and I've spoken too soon, haven't I? I have absolutely commentator's cursed him, haven't I? Yes, I have. Yeah, Ethan, I apologise. about that one. Because the minute I said we're not seeing spins from him, he somehow ended up facing the wrong way. And he's lost both of his end plates. So, I don't know how to react to that. I will finish what I was saying. He's gone down the rear. You know, he's consistently fighting at the back now, which we don't expect to see. He is, of course, a champion here in. I really should know what season it is. I think it's season number 4, and he's always consistently been at the top since. He has been runner-up for multiple seasons, so that's the pace he's had. But he has not been able to show it in season 10. But I will stop speaking about him before I curse him anymore.
Yeah, he's struggled on this game cycle, which is very unfortunate. But yeah, he will try to come back on F1 26 and be a little bit better. I think a lot of these drivers will be looking forward to F1 26. I know one that's not, and that'll be Alexis Mason, who seems to have a negative opinion of the game developers themselves. But she will be not looking forward to the next game, but still, I'm sure, super fast. As we've seen lots of performances from herself that have been particularly good indeed, and she'll be hoping to make the most of it on F1 26 and in her beloved W1 series, as well as also here, as we hope to push to get her into a full-time seat for the next season, because of course the performances that she's put in. I reckon the next driver to challenge with Andrea Chenkovan could be Alexis Mason, just because of the pace that she shows on a consistent basis, and all the other drivers that have had pace. You think back to the likes of Chapman, throw it back that far, they've had the pace, but what they haven't had is the consistency to do it week in, week out that Andrea Chenkovan just seems to have. He has that punishing consistency that it just seems to work out for him, and he just hopes that he'll be able to do that week in, week out next game cycle, as well as he has been able to do in the last couple. And the man heading towards what will be a record for APC is just going to continue to do so, and he's going to continue to do so in his traditional, quite quiet, quite polite fashion.
Absolutely, so quiet that he really comes and speaks to us, but we know he's there, and we know he's having a good time. The Aston Martin still running together all the way through this one. Alexis Mason will be battling for second position, as she is now all over the back of Luca Serafini, and she'll be hoping to go past, as she does go past into turn number 1. You will be seeing that on a replay if you are watching post. So yes, that is as Luca actually continues to battle this one out, and he's now going to go around the outside on the exit of the CNRS's. Where did that come from? He's got some fantastic grip, it would seem, but there's still 6 more laps to go for Alexis to try and take this position, as this looks like it's the only battle currently happening on track, although Regan is not far off Ollie Corlett and will want to have a go at taking 8th position very, very soon. But as you say, we'd love to see Alexis Mason regularly here and racing every single week. Even if she is negative about the game, she does. It's funny how you can hate the game but be really good at it. But you know, what do I know? I'm not that good at the game anymore, as we've seen in previous seasons. But I very much enjoy it. So I guess I'm the opposite of Alexis Mason. But Alexis, who hates the game, will try and go for second position in this one. But has Luca got enough to hold the Haas driver back? We've got another 4 and a bit, 5 laps exactly, apologies, to find out. And I guess the only other question is, will Regan come past Ollie Corlett? That one looks inevitable, as his tyres are, for some reason, I'm getting tyre comparisons between Aaron Petho and Alexis Mason, even though they're nowhere near each other. But yes, Regan Harding has got past Ollie Corlett, as Ollie Corlett went wide, and Regan will, well, I'm about to say hunt down Paul Garang. He won't, because there's a 25-second gap. But Ollie Matthews is the next one to fight, and he will be fighting Aaron Petho, I imagine, in the next lap or so.
And in the meantime, the fighting between these two has gotten very, very spicy indeed, between Luca Serafini and Alexis Mason. Alexis tried to go for it in the first corner, and it got very close and very, very sketchy between the two drivers. They will continue this fight onwards to the next couple of laps, and they will continue it, I'd imagine, to the end of the race, as Luca Serafini holds on to the position for the time being. There's no doing at the moment for Mason. But I'm sure she's going to try and go for it again down towards the final corner and down towards the final couple of non-braking corners on this racetrack, which are coming up very, very shortly indeed. The DRS will be open for Mason as she heads through the detection zone. Now is going to be when she puts the power down and opens up that rear wing, and we'll be going into the first corner. Luca Serafini tries to defend, cuts across late, so makes Alexis Mason dive for it and opens up a gap with a lock-up from Mason. Back through goes Serafini. A perfect defensive move from the V-Carb. It has been able to snatch DRS as well, not quite, so that means that the pressure will continue on from Mason. He defends to the inside again. She's going to go to the outside this time, and through to Cida de Largo they go. Who's going to be able to get the power down quicker? It's going to be Serafini. Mason keeps a tyre in and tries to take control of the battle by pushing him to the outside line, but Serafini in the end, just with enough grip, retakes P2, but these two are going to be fighting this one out all the way to the end of the race.
I'm very happy that something's not happening because it got a little bit quiet in the second portion of the race here. So to watch this battle heat up, I'm very much looking forward to another battle that you'll probably be seeing picture-in-picture if you're watching this later, is the Aston Martins on the back of Aaron Petho. So two big battles here, and two battles that mean a lot when it comes to APC. One is for second position, a runner-up in this race, and one is to stay in championship contention. Of course, Ollie is currently doing enough in fifth position, but he will want to make this a bit more comfortable for himself as the season progresses. And I can let you know that Ollie Matthews has gone running outside of Aaron Petho. Aaron Petho, though, is going to defend this one. And Aaron Petho is taking that position back as we are still watching the battle for P2. As Ollie Matthews has gone back around the outside of Aaron again. And Owen Boldero will want to help his teammate out a little bit here as this progresses. Lucas Serafini and Alexis Mason are going side by side into the Cida de Largo. But it looks like Lucas Serafini is going to better hold on to it again. So he's doing just enough to stay ahead. Aaron Petho is doing just enough to stay ahead of the two Aston Martins. So all of these battles brewing, no one able to get past at this stage. There are 2.5 laps still to go. We say this as we're in the second sector with the cars that we're on, but Andrea Chenkovan is almost hitting the start-finish straight, which is the dominance he has in this race. The Aston Martins all over the back and pushing Aaron through the middle sector here as Ethan Shackleton in the background goes past Ollie Corlett. So I didn't... Oh, he had to stop, didn't he? Because he had that spin when I cursed him. So that's why he's behind. And there is some bump drafting going on up the rear, up the back of the... what I'm looking for here, the back of the track. It looks like Ollie Matthews has got past Aaron Petho. Aaron Petho does keep coming back past though. Will he have enough? Owen Boldero will try and assist his teammate here. And it looks like they have finally pulled it off. And both Aston Martins are ahead of Aaron Petho as they go into the center races. Another battle though. Alexis Mason has dived down the inside of Lucas Serafini, but has left enough space. Fair racing from the both of them. Lucas Serafini sticking it around the outside, trying to hold on. That will become the inside as we go around in the first sector here. And Alexis Mason holding it around the outside. Their wheels are almost touching. They're leaving each other just enough room. Can they go the entire lap side by side? It's going to be a fantastic effort from the both of them if they do, but they are still continuing to do so. We are now almost 2 sectors in, and they're still side by side. It's continuing as we go down to the final real corner on the track, and Alexis Mason finally takes P2, but Luca will have the DRS. Will he come back past? And he will come back past before we even get to the DRS detection line. Actually, that may have been strategic from Alexis Mason, because that means Alexis Mason has the DRS now and will battle with Lucas Serafini into turn 1. And she's just going to have enough space on the inside, and she is going to take it. But I tell you what, with one more DRS straight to go, Lucas Serafini might be able to do enough. He's got past into the ZRSs. He doesn't even need DRS. But who's going to have DRS here? It is going to be Alexis Mason. And with this being the final lap, if Alexis can get past and hold on to this position, then there'll be nothing Luca can do. They're going to go side by side again. Surely they're not going to go side by side for another entire lap. But I tell you what, Lucas Serafini is doing enough. He is the person who's currently ahead. Alexis has to tuck in. And we're almost at the end of this race. And there are battles still yet to be decided.
They certainly are, but we are going to go around the final corner with Andrea Chenkovan, who is going to strengthen his championship challenge and is going to take himself one step closer to the title. Around the final corner will come the Ferrari. We've barely seen him all race long, but he will win the Brazilian Grand Prix in the first place, and he will take the victory here today at Interlagos. Last time out, he was challenging for that race win, and he's going to do that just again. Luca Saraceni is going to take P2, a better exit out of the final corner. Will take him past Alexis Mason in third place, and then the two Aston Martins fourth and fifth, with Aaron Petho, who challenged with them in fourth and fifth, and then sixth place for Aaron Petho, seventh for Paul Garung. Regan Harding's going to come home in 8th, with Ethan Shackleton in 9th. Ollie Corlett disconnected from the session right at the very end, but he will be able to hold on to that position because Brian Moore was lapped. But an incredible race between the drivers. And in fact, Regan Harding is going to drop back. Has he got a puncher here on the final lap of this race? Or has he... I think he's run out of fuel, Regan Harding, as he comes up to the line. And he will be finishing in 9th place. But a great win from Andrew Chenkovan. We barely saw the man.
Absolutely. He was in a world of his own on this race. Soon as he broke the DRS, he was gone in the first stint. He then fell back behind Luca Saraceni in the pit stop phase. But as soon as he got past again, once again, he was gone. You'll see the replay from the final lap there with the second place battle. Alexis Mason just could not hold on to the rear of the car in the third sector. Had two rear end snaps, which meant Luca was able to run away with it. And I can reveal from my data that her her tyre life, they were all in the late 60s. So they were screaming at the end of that race. Another good race for Luca Saraceni there, as we said. There was a chance at the win early on, but he wasn't able to hold on to it. But yeah, Alexis Mason, another podium for her. Quite a good record when she drives in APC. But yes, she'll be hoping for more. Ollie Matthews then brings the championship fight into the next race, into race 12. But it's going to be a massive ask for him to win it with a result like that. But at least it will continue into the next race. It will appear that the game will not give us the results on screen again. So thank you for that one, Codemasters. But I'm sure, I'm sure we can run everyone through it very shortly. I'll tell you what, as I'm currently speaking, I'll quickly run everyone through it. It's Andrew Chenkovan who won that one, with Lucas Saraceni in second. It's third for Alexis Mason. Both Aston Martins headed up by Ollie Matthews in fourth and fifth. And then it is Aaron Petho in sixth. Paul Garung in seventh, as we're looking at Owen Boldero's crash there. It's going to be Ethan Shackleton, who fell all the way down to 8th position, but took the fastest lap at the end with a 1:10.251 in 8th. Regan in 9th. Ollie Corlett takes your final point in 10th. Your final finisher was Brian Moore, who was lapped with Connor Stewart-Woodard and newcomer Ellin, who both retired in the pit lane. But I tell you what, that was a mental race towards the end there, and I am here for that kind of racing action.
Absolutely, and I can change over to the right one now because I fixed it. But there we go. That was a very good race indeed. Ups and downs for a lot of the drivers that we found, and we're going to get the opportunity to speak to somebody for whom I think it was a pretty up and down race. Brian, talk me through that one.
That was a bit of a... I don't really know how to describe. I mean, I knew I wasn't coming into the match with the race with high hopes. I thought anywhere remotely near the points would be good. It is what it is. I tried the best, but just couldn't get over the line.
Yeah. It was a very tricky race indeed, I think, for both the Kick Saubers. It's not going to help you in the constructors at all, is it? With just a couple of races to go, and now you're going to lose a little bit more ground to Haas.
Yeah. It just is one of them races this week. Hopefully, maybe the last 3 races can something different change, but tonight just wasn't the race for either me or Connor, and it sort of shows at the end of it.
Yeah, it certainly seemed to be the case, and well, next race out, Las Vegas. How are you feeling about
it? I've said this a lot this season. Hopefully, the same thing doesn't happen as every other time. For Vegas, I am very confident for.
Yeah, well, that's all from me. Carl, have you got anything for Brian before we let him go?
Very confident, he says. I'm looking forward to seeing that one. So do you think that some good points are on the cards, and do you think that you can still fight for the championship, not championship, apologies, the championship position with Haas, of course, with them having only one driver this time out. They've not built a massive gap on you. If I remember correctly, I believe it is just one extra point, so that's a 2 point gap between the two of you. Have you two still got what it takes to take sixth position in this championship?
Possibly. Obviously, we'd love to take it in the championship, but it's sort of the way the second half of the season has been. Is sort of me and Connor both sort of jokingly said in the races is either he finishes ahead of me or I finish ahead of him. So, not the bit of teammate rivalry, but I'd like to be able to try beat him this season, as I feel this is the best chance I've had. But also at the same time, taking sixth in the constructors will be make me very, very happy if we could do that.
Yeah. Any thoughts on his retirement in the pit lane? Do you have any thoughts on that, or you choose not to comment?
No, I fully understand it. He was 40 seconds off, 16 seconds of penalties. That was one of them. I was actually contemplating it myself in the race as well. It's one of those things where I don't blame him for it, if I'm being honest.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's a fair assessment from you. So we like that good teammate answer. I'd say, given the answer, I feel like you've got like your who's that person who stands next to you recording your interviews? I feel like you got that person next to you, making sure you say the right things. But yeah, good job nonetheless, Brian. I know obviously it's not the result you wanted. You're the only person obviously not score points, but you hung in there and you had some good battles. So yeah, well done for managing to finish that one, and we look forward to seeing you in Vegas, where you're going to smash it by the sounds of it.
I try my best.
See you then, mate.
That was Brian Moore, who, of course, the only driver unfortunate enough to finish outside of the points. Next up, though, we are going to drag into the box. Who should we bring into the box next? I think we should bring in Regan Harding. We're going to go in order, as we usually aim to. Regan, I mean, I talked about up and down races. Yours seem to be more than any other.
Yeah, look, I mean, annoyed, yes. Surprised, no. I was here 7 days ago and I told you boys I want to go for something different. I want to try something because without a shadow of a doubt, my worst track is Netherlands 100%, but Brazil is a very, very, very close second. So I was working hard there, Googling it. Statistically, IRL, the chances of a safety car coming out are 87%. So I thought, you know what? Let's underfuel the car. Surely I'll be able to get some of that fuel back when the safety car comes out. No safety car appeared. None. So I tried to manage. I spent that whole race managing on I crossed the line. I think it was 0.4 in the red. I took like 1.5 out and finished 0. I was so difficult. Yeah, as I said, disappointed because I know now, hindsight 2020, two lads in front, someone at 21 seconds and one at 10 seconds, so I could have got like maybe a P6 or P7. But look, I mean, a P6 or P7 or possibly a podium or higher up or maybe even a win. I feel like it was a risk worth taking. And I did take it. And yeah, I have to live with it now, I guess. As I said, annoyed, yes, because I did want to finish higher up. But surprised, no, not at all.
Yeah, it seemed to be a really interesting one. And yeah, I can completely understand what you mean from that perspective. And then just having a look at the way that the championship looks like, it may well stack up for yourself. Of course, heading into this race, you were fighting to stay inside the top 10. You were 1 point behind Paul, 1 ahead of Aaron Petho, and you were 5 ahead of Connor Stewart-Woodard. But of course, you've got the likes of Connor, the likes of Brian, the likes of Daniel, who could come into it late on. How confident are you feeling about that one?
They're absolutely dreadful compared to me, so I won't be worried about them. I'm pretty confident. I'm pretty confident I can stay in P10. I know next we have Las Vegas. I'm not great at it. I'm not bad. I'm kind of okay. Guitar, I mean, once again, I'm kind of okay at it. And Abu Dhabi, I'm not that good. I love Abu Dhabi, but I'm not that good at it. So look, I just keep showing up week in, week out, and if I feel like I have to take a risk, I will do it because I know in my heart that if I didn't take the risk and the opportunity had arose to take it later on in the race, I would hate myself so much. Now, I'm not saying if the opportunity arose, I'd be P1, 20 seconds ahead of the field. But the fact that that opportunity could be there and I didn't take it, I would just hate myself for it. So I would see how it goes. I mean, I was happy enough to sacrifice my, I don't know if you guys saw my teammate. He let me go past on my outlap. And just as I was starting my flyer, I looked at my mirrors and seen he was gone. I thought he was going for a flyer lap, so I was happy enough to sacrifice and let him fly by. But he came anyway. Not that it matters. He qualified really high up. So yeah, look, I mean, a lot to take away. I was talking to Senkai before the race, and we were talking about wings, and he goes, "Yeah, run like really low wings. Sector 2 is difficult, like the S's are difficult, but everything else is fine." He's an absolute liar. It was just dreadful all out. But look, as I said, I went for the gamble and it didn't pay off, but that's all right. We'll go next week and see how it goes. I'm kind of over just beating myself up over it, I'm annoyed, but as I said, I'd be more annoyed if the opportunity arose and I didn't take it.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that makes perfect sense. Speaking of next week, how are you feeling about Las Vegas?
Okay. Vegas is definitely it's a track I enjoy. Is it one I'm good at? I want to say yes. I'm not great at it, but I'm good at it. Anyway, I know there's a lot of DRS zones, a lot of DRS straights. I feel like there's going to be great opportunities to overtake. So as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't really matter where I qualify because I know there's going to be a lot of overtaking opportunities. Of course, on top of that, it's quite a narrow track. So who knows, the chances of maybe a safety car or something coming out is quite high, and it might be raining like it was last year in real life. So I'm excited. Out of the 3 races that are left, I will say I'm most excited for Vegas. I will absolutely admit that. So yeah, I'm hoping to get a bit of practice in beforehand and just try my best. And if it's not going that well on my teammates there, I mean, I'm happy enough to sacrifice if it means the constructors, but at the same time, I don't want to be walked over. So I'll try to do my best.
Regan Harding podium for Las Vegas, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here first.
No. Don't put that pressure on me. I wish.
Hey, you never ever know.
You never know. Sorry to interrupt. Our sister league WRL, I actually did get a podium in that race, but I think there was a maximum of maybe 8 people, so I don't really know if that counts. But I'm counting it as a podium, so maybe we'll run it back again in APC.
Yeah, game's the game. That's all from me. That's all from me. Carl, have you got anything for Regan before we let him go?
Podium in Vegas. Looking forward to seeing that one. But you obviously mentioned that you're fighting in the team championship. Your fight, of course, is with the Mercedes. You're both fighting for best of the rest, really, as the RBs, Aston Martins, and Ferraris are miles away, and you cannot catch those. So, best of the rest, 4th position is between yourselves and Mercedes. It's probably a big ask for the likes of Haas, Sauber, and McLaren to fight. Although, if Alexis Mason keeps putting performances in like that in the Haas, they could do something, but we'll see what happens. I believe Alexandra Vickel is back next week, so it should be back to the regular drivers. But in the Drivers' Championship, your battle is with the Kick Saubers, with the Mercedes drivers, but also with your teammate. You've gone into this one at 1 point different. That's you, 1 point ahead. How fair do you really want to be going into the last few races if it means that you maybe drop out of the top 10 of the Drivers' Championship order?
Look, I mean, I don't like losing, but I'm not stupid enough. I understand where I am in the pecking order. So I feel like if I have a teammate who shows up 20% of the time, which is currently the case, and they beat me, I won't be happy. So I think that's fair. That's a good point. I would rather prioritize myself over the likes of the championship. And even then, it doesn't really matter who finishes where, because obviously we'll both be contributing the points. So yeah, I'd like to finish higher up. I do think I'm quicker than him. I do. Wasn't today. That's to be expected. But I feel like in general I'm more consistent. So look, I'll see. As you said, if it's there, and I don't know if I'm like really like out of the points, and maybe he's coming by, I'll give him a slipstream or whatever. But I'm not. At the same time, don't get it confused. I'm not stepping aside. Like I'm absolutely not doing that. So we'll see how it pans out. I mean, it's either gonna go bad or it's gonna go good. I don't know. But we'll see how it goes anyway. So yeah.
But I think I have just manufactured a good battle there, so I'm looking forward to seeing that one, and I've been looking forward to seeing if this one ends up in a Regan Harding video on YouTube. We will find out. But Regan, thank you for joining us as always and bringing us such good energy as you always do, and we look forward
Thank you,
to seeing your
gentlemen.
podium next week.
So do I. So do I. Thanks, guys.
Oh, good. That was Regan Harding, who, of course, is going to be on for a podium next week ahead of Mr. P4 himself, Owen Boldero, who ended up not finishing fourth place here today. Is he going to be the next one into the box, in fact? I'm just having a look. I think he will be. Mr. P4 himself ended up P5. Explain yourself.
The qualifying was, I don't really know what happened there. I just kind of turned too hard and put it in the wall. I don't really have much more than that. It was just stupid, simply put. But it wouldn't be an APC qualifying without at least one Aston Martin crashing. It seems, but I mean, race was better. Race was better than that. I had a stupidly good start. If I'm being honest, I went from like P9 to 5th by the end of the second lap or something. I just found a lot of traction off the line and gained like 2 or 3 positions, and then one of the Mercs spun, and then from there got stuck behind Casca because Casca had the probably closest to 0-0 wings I've ever seen at Brazil. And then Ollie caught, and then we just sort of ended up working together. We tried to get Casca, but Casca was a little bit crazy in that race. I'm going to be completely honest. He was a little bit crazy. There was a lot of things that happened. He moved across Ollie once, and then he did it to me as well once. But we got him in the end. But yeah, the hards felt really good. I wasn't sure if I could one stop this race, but then about lap 13, I looked at my mediums. I was like, I can definitely one stop this. So I carried on once Luca in that box, and then from there, to be honest, nothing else really happened. We got past Casca, but it wasn't really for position because he had the 10-second. So I can't lie, it was kind of a boring race from my perspective, and probably quite similar from Ollie's as well.
And of course, we'll get the perspective of Ollie Matthews in a minute, who's in the box, and Casca is, of course, Aaron Petho. But I mean, championship still technically alive between yourselves and Chenkovan. What's the mindset, and what was the mindset during the race?
There is no mindset, simply put. I have never even thought of the championship this season, to be completely honest with you. It's more on for Ollie than it is for me. So I suppose if there is a sniff that Ollie could do it, I'll play rear gunner. Simple as that, because I'm dropping out of contention next race. So if there's a chance Ollie can do it, I'll play rear gunner.
And then in regards to the constructors, of course, Ethan Shackleton's not had the season that he's wanted, but of course the gap in the championship is still pretty decent. Is that your aim for the rest of this season, or is there no aim at all?
I mean, constructors it's kind of and kind of not on at the same time. We're thinking about it in the race, but we're kind of more thinking about RB behind us than Ferrari in front of us, because in order to win the constructors, I think we need Chenkovan to have another couple of races like Baku. I mean, Ethan Shackleton isn't really an issue. We can beat him relatively regularly as a team. It's more Andrea Chenkovan that's the issue. So I don't think, unless Chenkovan has a couple more races like what happened at Baku, we will win it. But we definitely keep it in mind during the races. That's why we stayed close together. There was one point where Ollie had more pace, but he stayed behind to give me DRS for a couple of laps to get me away from Paul in the first stint. And then there was another one in the second stint where I was faster, and I just sort of kept it around 7, 8, 9 tenths to keep giving him DRS so we could try and catch Casca towards the end. But yeah, we think about it, but I'm not sure if it's on.
Yeah, that's fair enough. It certainly is a difficult one to think about later on in the season, especially when you've got somebody like Andrew Chenkfan. That's all from me. Carl, have you got anything for Owen before we let him go?
Well, to confirm, Owen Baldero is no longer in a championship contention as a driver. Ollie Matthews is. Um, so, I mean, obviously, as you've already answered the kind of the question about whether you'll help him get the championship. So, I guess today is, did you how well coordinated were you when it came to that fight with Aaron Peffer? Because it looked like you obviously both struggling to get past. He was very quick in the straights and he was able to dive down to some questionable moves from the comms box, if I do say so myself, from Aaron Petho. But that's not for me to decide. But it looked like you were trying to coordinate yourselves to both be able to get past. And in the end, it looked like it was quite a good coordination between yourselves, as I think it was Ollie that went past. And then you kind of got in there to kind of prevent him from being able to come back past Ollie, even if that meant you lost some time. That's how it looked from our side. Is it you two are coordinating yourselves well, or did these tires just fall off and you were able just to get past coincidentally at the same time?
Well, we always were faster from when we came into the pits. So it wasn't necessarily that. I think it was more, how do I put this, a concertina effect maybe of the previous laps, because Ollie was attacking, which meant I was slowly but surely like getting closer. And then the lap where he got past, I was within range where with the better tyres I could break that little bit later, and then go for it as well. And then obviously I still had DRS, so we were able to sort of coordinate it so we were relatively safe. So it was kind of a mix of it all. I mean, the tyres definitely contributed, but I also think we were coordinating quite well as well. We're always sort of in conversation during races. So yeah, in the end, it was kind of like a mix of multiple things that kind of just came together to open that opportunity, I suppose.
Yeah. And I think, we love seeing you two together. So I won't ask about next season just yet. We'll save that question for a later interview. But hopefully we'll see you guys continue going at least for the rest of this season, maybe into a future season. But thanks as always for joining us. It's always a pleasure. And I imagine we'll be asking similar questions to your teammate very shortly. But until Vegas, we will speak to you soon.
Yeah, see you later, guys. Thank you.
That was, of course, Owen Baldero. And, everybody in the chat has just been made aware that Andrew Chenkfan, contrary to what we've said this season, is actually on wheel rather than...
I've just seen that. I've always thought he was on controller. I'm sure there was a rumour that he was doing it on controller somehow, but looks like we've been wrong this whole time.
He was until the end of F1 24, which is 2 seasons ago. But anyway, we digress and move on. Ollie Matthews will be next into the box after that bombshell. He's going to jump in. Shut up. We're not talking to Alexis and Luca anymore. We're talking to us instead. And, now you can start talk to us about that race.
And I think it's an improvement from last week. I think that's so much to say. Qualifying might as well have not been. But the race, the pace was there. There was some lack of brain cells throughout the grid, I believe, personally, from some instance that occurred. But I held on Matt pretty well. Me and Owen kind of stuck together for basically the entirety of that race. And we both got a good result out of it. And it was quite lonely, to be honest. We were in no man's land for kind of 80% of that race.
It can be quite a difficult one sometimes to try and motivate yourself to keep going when, of course, you are just in range with your teammate. We asked Owen a minute ago. We're going to ask you the same question. I mean, we talk about the championship so far as it goes, and we're coming towards the climax of it now. We know that both of you feel as though the Drivers' Championship is off, but as far as the Constructors goes, what's the mentality there?
We've just got to take each race as it comes. I don't know what the gap is after that race. I don't think we gain. Maybe we do gain like a couple of points on Ferrari that round.
I wanted to have the answer there, by the way, but annoyingly, I forgot to take the results down. So Owen Baldero is updating the results as we speak. So if they come in while you're speaking, I will let you know.
I mean, 4th and 5th against 1st and 8th might be quite similar. I don't know
it's 18, isn't it, for you two, right? And then it's 21st, 20, 21, 25, and
29.
And
so we probably lose out a
29.
bit, and
Yeah.
we've just got to take each race as it comes. I think there were some really quick drivers throughout the grid today that kind of held us back further than necessary. Aaron with crazy low wings, and I want to kind of hold us back for not a lot of reason. Probably prevented us from getting possibly a 2nd and 3rd, or at least a 3rd and a 4th with how early Luca boxed on those tyres. So yeah, we've just got to take each race as it comes, and it's not over till it's over. And it would be great to stop Ferrari winning another championship.
Certainly would. Nolly Matthews, somebody who's joined relatively recently, ladies and gentlemen. So somebody who's already developed an understanding of what APC is. And APC basically stands for Stop Ferrari. I didn't think of anything witty in the moment, but you know what I mean. But yeah, and well, I mean, next time out we've got Las Vegas. What's the opinions on the track before we head there?
Basically a pigsty, really. Just looks like a pig. I don't know the last time I drove it, and I'm just gonna pray that I don't hit a wall. I'm hoping that the walls are a little more out of reach than Texas, and I have no hopes. I've got a lot going on. I believe I've got an exam earlier that day, so there will also be no practice, but it seems to work.
Well, annoyingly for you, the walls are closer with the nature of it being a street track. So, yeah, we'll just see how it goes. Take it as it comes, and of course, we'll see how you end up doing next week. We hope the best for you. Before we let you go, Kyle, have you got anything for Ollie?
As you mentioned, Stop Ferrari is the name of the game. Ferrari have actually won 6 of the 9 championships in APC. Only 4 of them, just to be clear, were the current 2 drivers racing. Aston Martin have won the championship before in season number 5. That was driven by a driver called Drew Bliss and a driver called Kyle Stewart Woodard. So they were fantastic from what I remember. Season 10, though, is the next, if it's Aston Martin going to win it every 5 seasons, as it seems to be the case, then this is it. Season 10 is the one. So, what do you need to do? I mean, I know you do a lot of practice anyway. What extra can Ollie Matthews do? And maybe even, could you practice a bit more with Owen Baldero before the races, just to try and give it everything for these remaining 3 races, as it is really on. I know the drivers is quite a big gap. You are the only driver still in contention other than Andrew Chenkovan. But that's obviously a massive gap. The team's championship isn't as big. What can you do? Are you going to give it your all to get that championship this time out?
I need a way to stop Chenky's Wi-Fi working, I think.
That's the cool, I think, yeah.
I think that is the cool. Even then, I think it would be close, at least with the drivers, to get it over the line. But getting the constructors over the line would be a lot more comfortable in that regard. But we've just got to take it as it comes. I'm quite happy that Stack hasn't been completely on the form that he was over the past few seasons, and me and Owen can kind of compensate. Even if Chenky's ahead of us, both of us can be scoring big points. That means we can still do little gains, but it's just going to be hoping that we can just maximize each race. I think we maximized today with how quick the grid seemed, and our best hope is to do the same next week, and hopefully we can get Owen a win. That would be great, both winning in the same season. And yeah, it'll be close, at least with the constructors, right until Abu Dhabi. I don't know mathematically when they can win it, but before this race, it was just under 60 points. I think it's 53. They've gained a little, but
I'm pleased to say that Owen Baldera has updated the standings. Well, he's inputted the data from that race, and there is a 60-point difference between the two of you now. So you're on 290, they're on 350. Some very good round numbers. So it is possible. What do you make of that?
How many rounds are left? 3.
3.
I mean, if Jenky doesn't attend all 3 races, that's 75 points up for grabs, and just off of winning. So I think finding a way to permanently remove his Wi-Fi might be the smartest way forward.
Well, I'm sure
them both.
I'm sure you'll be having some intense discussions with the Croatian government. So I will leave you to that for the next week, and we will be looking forward to seeing you after the Upside Down Pig track next week. Hopefully, we'll get to speak to you then. But until then, right, have a good week.
You too.
That was, of course, Ollie Matthews, who's fighting it out still just about for the Drivers' Championship, as well as more securely for the Constructors. We'll now bring in third place in today's race, was very close to the back of Luca Seracini. What's your take on that one, Alexis?
Few close calls, but one moment which was tight, but other than that, it was fine. Just, I don't like this track.
What in particular is it about Brazil that you don't feel comfortable with?
Sector 1, Sector 2, Sector 3. And especially the exit of the penultimate corner.
That's pretty self-explanatory. That being the whole track. So with that in mind, if you are attending Brazil next, or if you are attending, today was Brazil, if you are attending Las Vegas next time out, what's the thoughts on that one?
Hope it rains.
Yeah, of course. It could.
I do it every race. Before every race, I'm like, please rain.
Yes, it certainly does shake it up when it rains, and well, it has rained before around Las Vegas races, but with it being in the middle of the desert, it can, I think, be. We can make bets on the fact that it's most likely not going to. But that's all from me. Carl, have you got anything for Alexis?
Alexis, what did you make of that battle with Luca Seracini? We enjoyed watching that. I know it was very tight at times, and I think from what we saw, it all looked fair. I think there might have been some chat in the championship where in the Discord, apologies, where somebody may not have felt that it was fair, but it looked like it was all just about on the edge, but just about fair. I mean, what do you make of the battle?
I've watched it back, and most of it's fair. He forced me off once, but it was nip and tie. I don't quite know if it was a complete force off. I might have driven myself off, but that's where I had to go like super slow-mo to see. But it won't be reported because that would be petty.
Well, at least you, in hindsight, was able to enjoy that one, and actually, it was fun for us to watch. We very much enjoyed that, and it's always fun when you join us here in APC. So we hope to see more of you before the season ends, and if we're lucky, maybe you'll join full time next season. We will see. Exams every week, or
I've got A levels coming up.
Oh, I see. Okay, so is that you confirming that there's no more races, or when you're not sure?
Las Vegas will be my last opportunity for the rest of the season. I'm sure Regan would be very happy to hear that, because a minute ago he said, please don't race, Williams needs points.
Well, I'll tell you what, if his teammate maybe doesn't show up, maybe you'll be in the Williams, who knows. But hopefully then we'll see you for Vegas for one last time this season, and maybe more races next season. We will hopefully wait and see. But until then, hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Well done on your podium today, and we will speak to you very soon.
Goodbye.
That was, of course, Alexis Mason, who I think is feeling a little bit sheepish after looking at that race back. Sometimes you can feel in the heat of the moment as if something has gone askew for yourself, but then you watch it back and then you go, maybe not. I know I've done that quite a few times. The last driver into the box, and we'll get his opinion on that one as well, it's going to be Luca Seracini. Luca, P2 for yourself today, well done. Talk us through it.
I feel so good after that race. It was easily my best race in the league. I mean, like my best result was Baku, but I got really lucky there. Like qualifying wasn't amazing. I felt like I could have got an extra tenth or two and been third, but I wasn't anywhere near quick enough to be near Chenky or Ellen. And then I just had a really good start. I made a little bit of contact with Ellen, but I wasn't the one who spun her around. And then I was fighting with Chenky for a bit. I was saving my tyres a little bit because I thought I was going to try push them really hard, like before I pit, and then try to do an undercut. I did the undercut. I got ahead of him, and then I put low wings on Pub because I wanted to just try to stay ahead of him eventually. And then he did just get past me, and then I had a fight with Alexis, which was really nice. I don't really know where the complaining came from. I mean, I felt like there was much more contact on me, but I mean, if nothing gets reported, then I don't really mind it.
Well, I can inform you that Alexis has kind of watched it back and gone, maybe it wasn't how it felt in the moment, because of course in the moment it can feel quite... you can feel the extremities of the emotions when you're out there on the track. It can be very difficult to manage yourself. But yeah, she has watched it back and she doesn't feel quite so harsh now. There might be reports that come in, but of course it was hard racing. And I mean, at this point in the season, are you thinking about that Constructors' Championship at all? Are you thinking about just trying to seal that third place, trying to pick up potentially second? Although I think before this race you were in contention for the title, but it was an unlikely one. Are you thinking about the championship, or is it just no thoughts, head empty racing?
Definitely head empty. Like, I don't think we're catching Aston Martin unless they have another weekend like this, which I don't think they will. I mean, I kind of need Bert to attend the last few races, even if he's just there getting a couple points or, getting fifth, fourth, maybe even podiums. But I mean, I don't think we were ever going to win the Constructors, and I still don't think second's in our reach.
And then, of course, we've got our game cycle coming out very, very soon, which should be good fun. We've seen your improvement throughout the course of this game cycle. And, well, I'll ask you this now, in case anything happens in the last few rounds of the season, we can just get it out of the way. But what's the aims for the improvements heading on to F1 26?
Well, I want to be at the front. I want to be ahead of Chenky. Like, I think if I go no assist and I practice loads before season 12 starts... Sorry, not season 12. Is it season 12?
It will be season 11, but I've also made that mistake earlier.
Yeah, I heard that. That's what confused me. I still think I can be up there because I'm not massively far off Chenky right now. And I think if I turn off automatic gears and go at least medium traction control, I could be a bit closer.
You're that quick with automatic gears?
Yeah.
No comment. Kyle, talk to him. What have you got for Luca before we finish off?
That's blown my mind. That is actually automatic gears. You're taking corners like that. That is mightily impressive. So yeah, I think we'd love to see your pace once you start turning those things off. So yes, you're out of championship contention now, but you're not out of contention for top 3 in the championship. Is the focus now on Owen Boldero and trying to split those Aston Martins?
Yeah, he didn't have a great race. I mean, I saw the crash in qualifying, no idea what he was doing. And then in the race, he got stuck behind the Williams. I mean, looking at the next few races, Vegas, I don't know how good he is. Qatar and Abu Dhabi, I also got no idea because he wasn't there last season. But I remember I was pretty close to Ollie last season, so I'm hoping I can be ahead of him. Not that it would really matter, but I don't really know with Owen.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, you have got 4 podiums this season to Owen Baldero's 3. So, sorry, I've done you a disjustice there. You've had 5 podiums, including the sprint win, which I think we've forgotten. I do apologise about that. We've never mentioned that in commentary. You did have a sprint win in Belgium. So 5 podiums for yourself and 3 for Owen Baldero. So looks good. You've got the pace. I think the downside is that Owen's got a really strong teammate who he works very well with. Of course, your teammate has missed quite a few races this season. I say he missed a few. He's missed 2 and then being out of the top 5 for most of the rest of them. So, yeah, it was going to be hard with them to working together. But Ollie's also got a potential championship to think about, and they've got a team championship to think about. So maybe knowing that and having that knowledge might mean that you might better take bigger risks than they do. But I'll be looking forward to seeing how that battle pans out towards the end, because I'm sure you wouldn't turn your nose up at top 3 in the championship. But yeah, exactly. But fantastic driving as always. That was a fantastic second place. It was hard fought as well. You had to really fight for it. I did think you could potentially have had the win today. So
No.
you were there or thereabouts. So with a little bit more, like some more assist off and maybe some more practice, I think you very much could be there. And I'm looking forward to witnessing the day that happens. So thanks as always for joining us. You are our last interview, I believe. So it's always nice to end on a high note. And we look forward to speaking to you after Vegas if you are with us.
I will be.
Excellent. We'll see you then.
See you both.
Yes, and that is it in terms of our interviews. Lucas Aracini being the last one. Kyle, of course, now that we've finished Brazil and we've had a few moments to reflect, what are your thoughts on the 11th round of the season?
I mean, there was a point in the middle where I thought we might describe it as a little bit of a boring race, but absolutely. Towards the end there, the last from lap 30 onwards, there were so many battles across the field, and it was hard to know what to watch. And even yourself as a master producer was struggling to decide which battle to watch, because which one's going to go, which one's going to fight who. So it was so hard to know where to look. But of course, it was so much fun for us in the comms box to be able to commentate on that. And I think I ended up having to commentate an entire lap because the battle then didn't stop. They were side by side throughout the entire middle of the entire lap there. So not the best showing from the Aston Martins. They done enough to keep themselves in contention and keep Ollie Matthews in driver contention. The gap is, if I remember correctly, it's 73 or 74 points. It's 73 going into the next round with 75 points maximum still to score. It's going to be a big ask for Ollie Matthews, but I'm sure he's going to give it a damn good go. The team's championship is still very much on, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that one pans out. Lucas Aracini can still be in the top 3 in the championship if he puts in good performances like he did today, so I'm sure he will be focusing on that as well. It was a promising debut from Ellen on her first time with us. Of course, ended up in a DNF in the pit lane after multiple incidents that maybe weren't necessarily her fault. We didn't really get to see him well enough. But yes, another DNF for Connor Stuart, so not a great ending to his season so far. But of course, still to come is the USA Grand Prix number 2, this time at Las Vegas, in the desert, in the night. And of course, sometimes at night, some scary things happen, and we'll see if some scary things happen, some crashes happen next time out. We don't want to see crashes, of course, but it's a street circuit, and they, of course, encourage is not the right word, but a lot of crashes happen in street circuits because the walls are very much there. We then go over to the much wider circuit of Lusail with a lot more runoff, so we will probably not see as many crashes there, but we will probably see a few incidents as it's very high speed and very easy to come together with some other drivers. And we will finish off on the 19th of May. I can't believe how quickly this season has gone at Abu Dhabi, where the champion will be officially crowned. But can Ollie Matthews keep this battle going all the way to the race on the 19th of May? We will have to wait and see.
We certainly will. That was pretty comprehensive. There's 2 things we don't want out of next week. We don't want to see any crashes, and Kyle doesn't want to see the dark. God forbid anybody sees him on Halloween. But that will be us for today's race. That will be the 11th round of our season. Join us next week for round 12. And until then, it is goodbye.
Underway. Stamps' authority once again.
My word, this could go wrong.
On the brakes, goodness me, what a launch!
Look at that.
It just all comes down to this.